Hello everybody, Andrew Casey at Hypersanity Books. Today we're talking about red flags and green flags in fiction. With this case study we're focusing on the Norbit character from Norbit. With this case study it's also effective to the other characters to be open to objective scrutiny between red flags and green flags. Otherwise, let's get into it. Number 10. Norbit's childhood.
You son of a... Bingo! Right in the blowhole!
Now, red flags come from his family, trying to be positive about where he comes from, as most people should be. We want to know where we come from in life, and by him not knowing where he comes from, it has uncertainty into the character. With the show versus tell scenario on the storytelling, this is effective. The other red flags come from the duty of care that he has. He is in a constant danger all the time to the duty of care from Mr. Wong.
Marvin, where you go? Why you run off like a little bitch?
With the green flags, it comes from meeting Kate. From a young age, and this storytelling is extremely effective for the introduction. It also builds up the tragedy of his childhood, where, and this is something I don't like that I've heard about within a lot of the systems in different countries, and a lot of first world countries have this problem where people build up relationships and friendships and are split apart. So they're red flags that I find a lot of society creates. There are other situations where children build up green flags with people, they build up trust and relationships, and they get severed and destroyed. Number 9. Child with no agency.
Say the best piece for you.
What's that?
Turkey ass. Eat up, sucker.
Norbit is put in a situation where he's bullied, and by being rescued from a bigger person, and this is all respectful, there are good intentions, and then there are bad intentions, being forced into a relationship so quickly, and it's moving too fast for him to understand or to handle. The other red flags that come for this poor child is her 3 brothers. Now, they're obviously represented as selfish people and by all means criminals within society.
And here is my counter offer.
To how they operate, overpowering over small businesses. So with the red flags of Norbit, Mr. Wong and how he deals with them, as much as it's a red flag, he's not going to submit to the 3 brothers to have his business overtaken.
Alright, it's go time.
Whoa. I not like rest of town people. I'm not intimidated by Ratamo.
Now, with Norbit, back to the case study, he is in a situation that he doesn't fully understand, and by some sort of loyalty to this relationship, it leads on to wedding vows. Number 8. Married life and family obligation.
Happy President's Day! God bless America!
The problem with Norbit's situation is because he's treated as an orphan in the marriage, that's a massive red flag because he's got to think about Retribution's needs above his own needs. But because he doesn't have a foundation of a family, he also takes to having green flags, working back within the orphanage, contributing back into society where he is also grateful. There is also other red flags because he's got to consider how Retribution feels. He's got to think about their business. He's got to think about her 3 brothers. He has to put everyone before himself. And also, with certain frustrations that come later on, one other red flag to make clear, Retribution also has an affair that is made clear to Norbit.
You cheated on me.
Look, I told your ass ain't nothing happened. And the next time you say it happened again, I'm gonna knock your teeth out your mouth.
We took vows and you cheated on me.
It never happened.
So within committing adultery, that's already a grounds of divorce. Number 7. The love triangle begins. This is also important storytelling because between red flags and green flags and certain relationships, it is effective to have comparisons. And some people think it's judgmental. No, there are some situations that are toxic and need to be identified. There are some relationships, like with the Notebook. Both men were nice men, but she still had to make a decision between. And that was a lot harder because she had to think about what she wanted, not what everyone else wants. And that's important. With Norbit, he's reconnecting with his friend Kate. In adult world, with this red flag, his wife also said that she was pregnant beforehand.
Hey, leave! Norbit, please! I'm a child! With child?
That's another red flag because she's also lying about something you shouldn't lie about to try to keep the marriage together for her terms.
Oh, yes, Norbit, can't you tell? I'm getting a little belly.
Nothing to do with his interest. So with Kate, there are some green flags of friendship. There are red flags by the way she's dancing with Norbit at the festivities. The other red flags is her also pointing out to Retribution about the family business and talking about things. No, there are boundaries that Retribution needs to set. I understand that. Now, within certain circumstance, there are certain things where out in public I'll bump into people who love my work and want to get a picture with me for the book I wrote. Now, if I can't spare a couple minutes to be nice, then shouldn't be an author. Kate is also obligated because she is getting married to Antoine. So within that sort of thing, her behaviour by being close dancing with Norbit is inappropriate. So they are red flags on your behalf. Number 6, Pimps.
Pope sweet Jesus. It's taken half.
They are also red flags by their behaviour. Now, in Australia, I have never witnessed or seen at any sort of fair, whether it would ever be something that happens, I've never seen a kissing booth. I don't agree with it, I don't condone it, they are red flags. And they're also designed for a lot of disease. With the red flags, the pimps are talking to one of the girls, and he says this.
You work for me now. How?
Sure.
Let me taste the goods. Put it on me. Greasy, greasy. We back in business.
Now another girl has a different response.
I want to be a hoe.
I say no, you can be better than that. You don't need to degrade yourself to pleasing other people or feel like that you have to be under someone else to do something degrading. Number 5, children's behaviour.
You think I'm playing? Give me that right now. I'm gonna tear your leg off.
So there are children within the fair who are also showing red flags to their behaviour, the way they're treating Retribution. Now that's also not okay. So within the characterisation and writing the stories, this is effective storytelling, creating different conflict, but it's not okay, their behaviour. And there are children who think that they have that type of lack of punishment to be able to do what they feel like doing to hurt another human being. Now, there is also something else where one of the young girls fall.
It's raining little white women. My prayers have been answered.
Now, that's also not appropriate. That's a red flag. That is almost borderline to a pedophile joke. So that is not okay within the story.
Help me what? Clean your pool with my shirt off? Or wash your car in jean shorts? Bend over in front of you to get little bits of lint out of the rug? I know what you're about, Mr. Herbert. Free labor, and I'm not into it!
So there are so many red flags. And with the pimps, there is also the other part where they're also encouraging Norbit to be preparing to go on a date, even though he's married and should get divorced by Retribution, and she is obligated to be married to Antoine. So within the circumstance, yes, there are different manipulative characters that show red flags within the story, and they do affect Norbit's life or the characters surrounding him being Retribution. Number 4, you do it.
Now you tell me what in the hell I look like running some pyramids down the city hall for your ass. You do it. Okay.
One thing that has Norbit working in with things is he's spending time with Kate because of how he's able to work out Retributia. Now, Retributia shows signs of covert narcissism with her delegation. There is also overt narcissism because of how outspoken she is. Because of how she delegates things to Norbit, he knows how to manipulate her now to spend time with Kate, and that's also building up the narrative. The comparisons are important for the storytelling. Number 3, getting close. With the Kate character, so going out to dinner with Norbit behind her partner's back, behind Retributia's back, one thing that she does that's a big red flag is wearing Norbit's hat within that dinner scene. So that's something to think about with certain behavior, that it's not okay in any sort of circumstance. With both characters, if you're wanting something different, then by all means do it the right way to separating. Unfortunately for Norbit, you know he's going to get hurt for leaving her. And then for Kate, well, there's other mystery to come ahead. So within some of the red flags, there are some red flags that aren't seen yet. And there are some other green flags of getting along. It also leads to the rehearsal wedding thing for her and kissing Norbit and having that build up and that emotion and all those sorts of feelings. Not knowing what she wants, but her behavior was still showing to have those red flags. There are other friendships where you shouldn't be behaving a certain way around other people who are involved. Number 2, the most red flags. Who has the most red flags within the story? Well, the 3 brothers have a lot of red flags within themselves, and combined, they're also seen as a trio within the story. Retributia has just as many red flags as the 3 brothers, but she doesn't have the most. No, the person who has the most red flags compared to every character collectively within the story is Antoine.
Hello, Antoine! I've been looking for you.
Daddy!
Antoine? He told me his name was Luther.
He was gay.
No. Y'all got me confused with my gay twin brother, Antoine Luther.
You dead, gold digger! Get your foot back!
I'm out!
But he has more red flags, and the red flags are being a professional cheater. Now, he has multiple relationships, multiple children to different people. He is also lining himself up for other criminal charges, which can come under as rape because of false marriages, to how he has taken advantage of people. So there are a lot of red flags in his character that don't reveal till the end. Within the story being a comedy, it's a little bit more of a lighter tone, but the seriousness of his character is a lot more concerning than anything. With the keeping a mystery to a story, within conflict, keeping a balanced comedy, I didn't mind the movie Norbit to some extent. Number 1, green flags everywhere. The green flags everywhere comes from the community standing up against their oppressed. With the ending and the climax, with Norbit overcoming a lot of his fears and other problems, he was also staying married, as previously said, because of his obligation to what marriage is. But adultery, with Retributia cheating on him, no, get divorced. Even the Bible says that to religious people, you should get divorced when adultery is committed. Moving forward with the review though, the community standing together. There are red flags from all different characters, and I love this in storytelling because it makes the community stand together as one, and that is also diversity without pointing out diversity. And that's something to also consider with your writing. The diversity subject gets talked about a lot, and I know within the book Dark Sparrow I touched on the diversity subject in a different bunch of ways, but it's the collective community standing together. And that's it for today. Hit like, subscribe, comment. I'll be doing some other case study videos, and I'll be doing some other videos on green flags very soon. Green flag characters are important to write within certain stories because some characters are not full of shit.